It was an ordinary night on an isolated road where the darkness seemed to swallow the horizon. An experienced truck driver, known for his calm demeanor and skill during nighttime trips, was driving peacefully. He was used to the long hours of solitude on the road, but that night felt different. The air seemed heavier and the silence more oppressive than usual. With the radio turned off, the only sound was the constant hum of the engine and the occasional creak from the cargo in the truck. As he drove on, the road seemed endless, winding through dense trees that formed a dark tunnel. The truck driver noticed something up ahead, a figure standing by the side of the road, motionless. At first, he thought it was just a shadow cast by his headlights, but as he got closer, he realized it was a human figure. Instinctively, he slowed down, concerned it might be someone in need of help. But as he approached, the figure vanished without a trace. Confused, he kept driving, trying to rationalize what he had seen. Perhaps it was fatigue playing tricks on his mind, or simply a play of light and shadow. However, a few minutes later, something even stranger happened. He began to hear a noise coming from the cabin, as if something or someone was moving in the space behind him. His heart raced. He glanced in the rearview mirror but saw nothing. Even so, the noise persisted, now clearer. Footsteps, as if someone were walking on the metal bed of the truck. Logic told him no one could be there, but his instincts warned him otherwise. He decided not to stop. He kept driving, fixing his gaze on the road, gripping the steering wheel tightly. When he finally spotted the lights of a gas station, he felt immediate relief. He stopped the truck, quickly got out, and began inspecting the cabin. At first glance, there was nothing unusual, but when he checked the truck bed, he found handprints smeared with dirt, as if someone had indeed been there. Although the rest of the trip went without incident, that event left a permanent mark on his memory. The truck driver never managed to find an explanation for what had happened that night. Since then, he has avoided driving on isolated roads after dark, preferring to take deliveries along busier routes. On another night, in a region known for mysterious phenomena, a young adventurer decided to test her courage. She had heard of a road famous for reports of inexplicable lights, but always thought these stories were nothing more than urban legends. Curious and skeptical, she decided to drive through it at night. The beginning of the trip was uneventful. The road was narrow, flanked by mountains and under a starry sky. But as the night went on, she began to notice something peculiar. Small lights appearing in the distance. At first she thought they were headlights from other cars, but realized the lights were moving erratically, as if dancing in the air. Fear started creeping into her thoughts, but she tried to stay calm, attributing the phenomenon to reflections or drones. However, the car engine began to fail, and within minutes the vehicle stopped completely in the middle of the deserted road. Alone, and with no phone signal, the young woman started to panic. The lights, now closer, seemed to encircle the car. The silence of the night was broken only by the sound of her racing heartbeat and her labored breathing. She looked around, trying to find some explanation, but the overwhelming feeling of being watched was unbearable. With great effort, she managed to turn on her phone and send a message for help, but the response was slow to arrive. She decided to step out of the car to assess the situation, but as she opened the door, she heard a high-pitched noise, as if something was rapidly approaching. Frightened, she returned to the car and locked the doors, waiting anxiously for help to arrive. After nearly an hour, another driver appeared on the road. He stopped and offered assistance, towing her car to a safe area. Curiously, the lights disappeared before he could see them. Although she escaped unharmed, the experience changed her perspective. She stopped being skeptical of supernatural reports and began to value preparation and safety in her adventures. On a rainy night, a rideshare driver received an unusual request. The passenger wanted to be taken to a destination outside his usual route. Despite the rain and the late hour, he decided to accept since the fare was financially rewarding. When he arrived at the meeting point, he found a man standing under a streetlight. He was drenched, but appeared calm. He entered the car without saying much, only indicating the direction they should go. During the first few minutes, the passenger remained silent, but gradually began asking strange questions. Do you believe in destiny? Or, what would you do if you had to choose between life and death? The driver answered vaguely, trying to ignore the unease he felt. Something about the passenger's tone was disturbing. At one point, when he glanced in the rearview mirror, he noticed the back seat was empty. He hit the brakes abruptly and turned around to check, but the passenger had vanished. Confused and frightened, he kept driving but felt something was still off. The smell in the car had changed, and the radio started functioning intermittently, emitting strange noises. When he finally arrived at the destination indicated by the passenger, he realized it was a cemetery. With his heart racing, he decided to end his shift and return home. Though he never discovered what truly happened, the experience made him rethink his nighttime routine and the routes he accepted. These stories show that no matter how terrifying situations may seem, resilience and courage can guide us through the unknown. The roads, with their mysteries and challenges, test the limits of our minds and hearts. And you? Have you ever experienced something unexplained or challenging on the road? Share your story in the comments. Your experiences can inspire others and create connections among those who have faced the unexpected.